Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Zesty Thoughts. This is episode 26 with your host, Anabla. Welcome back. I had a little hiatus last week. I was traveling back home from Saudi Arabia. I was visiting my boyfriend and his family. I had the most amazing trip, but I'm back to regular scheduled programming, y'all. I'm going to even have some episodes during the holidays. So we are back and better. And I'm so excited for the new year. I'm going to be unveiling a little bit of rebranding for the podcast artwork, cover artwork, all of that, everything for my socials. So please be on the lookout for that. I'm so excited. I had some free time while I was visiting my boyfriend and his family. So I redesigned it myself while I was there with the free time that I had. I was thinking for a while that I wanted to redesign it. I wanted to keep the zest like there, you feel me? But I wanted it to be a little bit more personal to me and have a few nods to like, things about me and my personality and like my essence. And I don't know, it sounds like corny, but like I feel like I low-key achieved that and I'm super excited to share it with y'all. I can't wait for you to see it. There will be like, let me see how many more episodes. There will be 2 more episodes before the new year, and then the first episode of 2025 will be out on January 2nd, and that episode will have the official new official artwork on it. So I'm excited for y'all to see. I'm going to post a few teasers on IG in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I am back. The flight back was pretty good. There was a little bit of drama on the flight. To preface this, I've never been on a flight where like there has been like a commotion. I've always seen videos online of crazy like Karens and like things happening on flights. And like, I've kind of always wanted to like experience that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what would I do? You know what I mean? Like, what would I do and say? Turns out nothing. Turns out I just sit my ass in my seat silently being like, oh my gosh. Just soaking it up, But yeah, there was a little bit of drama on my second flight. So my first flight was from Dammam to Istanbul, and then from Istanbul to LA was my like long flight. That was 14 hours. The first flight was like 4 hours. And then the long flight was 14 hours from Istanbul to LAX. The first flight was chill, was nice. There was a empty seat in between me and the person next to me again, which was sick. So I just got to chill on that. And then the long flight, basically where all the plane is like fully loaded and they're like kind of checking everybody's seatbelts and everybody's like making sure everyone's things are in the overhead bins. And, I wouldn't have thought of this beforehand, but like they also have to check the restrooms to make sure like no one's in the restrooms before we take off. And I guess that someone was missing from their seat. It was a full flight and someone was missing from their seat. So they were like calling to make sure that they had checked in. They had seen on the system that they were checked in. So like, okay, maybe this person's in the restroom. So they had flight attendants go around. I didn't know this beforehand, found this out after the fact, after the whole commotion happened. But basically they had the flight attendants like check all the restrooms and they're all like knocking on the, doors to see. And then like, they don't hear anything. So it's kind of like, maybe this person is like hurt or something. Like if they're not responding, that's weird. So apparently one of the male flight attendants knocked, didn't hear anything. And then like used a key to open the bathroom door. And the woman was, not like, she was like a little bit exposed in the bathroom, and basically like he like apologized, walked away, or that's what he said. But basically like whatever, fast forward to like we're like about to take off and this woman starts screaming at flight attendants, like literally like, that's wrong, da 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 da, like. And at first it's like I couldn't tell what she was like speaking on. Like I couldn't tell what she was like upset about, you know? But she was like, that's wrong. Like I'm a woman, da 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 da. If it was like a woman flight attendant, like I might not have like been so, you know, I might not care so much, but because it was a man, like I feel like disrespected and like I have a husband, da da da. Like she was like going off, like full on like crashing out. She was super upset, like clearly. And all the flight attendants were like, you know, we're sorry, like it was an accident, you know, it wasn't, you know, on purpose. We have to check all the restrooms in the cabin before we take off, to make sure that everyone's seated and, you know, has their seatbelt fastened safely before we like the plane leaves. You know, and they're like trying to apologize and like reason with her and like talk to her about it. But she was like not having it. And I'm just sitting there in my seat like tired, because it's like my first one was like a overnight from like my first flight from like 1:30 a.m. We landed at like 6, or like just before 6, and then this flight was at like 8 a.m. So like I slept a little bit on that overnight flight, but like not much. So I was like tired. I was already feeling like irritable, like antsy, like I wanted to like move, but I was like, I'm gonna be on this plane for 14 hours and I want to do the opposite of sit on a plane. You know? So I was just trying to like chill, and this happened, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what? Like, because you always see these situations like on TikTok, low-key. Like you see like people's videos of like commotion like this on a plane, and it's like, what happens like at the end, like after all of this? I mean, nothing happened. They just like talked her down a little bit and apologized, you know? And that was like pretty much it. I don't know, like nothing happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, like how long is this gonna go on for? It was like, she was yelling for like a minute or two. And I'm just sitting there like, dang, are they gonna like, is this gonna delay the flight? Like, are they gonna kick her off the plane? Like what, you know? But nothing happened. Sorry, I don't have like further tea to spill regarding that story. But yeah, I don't know. They just like apologized to her, and they were like, sorry, you know, like, but we had to like check, and like we knocked on the door, and like you didn't say anything. So I don't know. It's like kind of sucks. I like understand it's like violating, but also like, girl. Anyway, then there was more drama on the first flight. Basically, I was seated in the second row of a section. I should have just got a seat in the first row of the section. Now that I like realize it, 'cause I'm like, oh, there's like more leg room. But basically I was in the second row. I'm an aisle girl, like at heart for sure. And so I'm in the aisle of the middle. It's like 3 by 3 by 3. Big girl plane. And so I'm in the center on the right aisle. And there's a man in front of me, like probably in his like 50s or 60s or something, and then there's nobody in between him and then like a middle-aged woman. And I hear them like talking before the flight, and I'm just like eavesdropping low-key, and they're both like American, and the guy's like, oh, I'm from Ohio, da da da, and they're talking about like their businesses and like all this stuff, and there's no one in between them, which is like sick. Like that's awesome. I love that feeling. I love that for you. But anyway, we're like, after all the commotion happens with the woman and the restroom situation, a flight attendant walks up with a woman and a baby, and she's like, oh, you can sit here. And the man literally went, no, it's a woman and a baby. What are you doing? Where are you getting this audacity from? He's like, no, I paid extra for this to have extra leg room. And she's like, yeah, but you didn't pay for this seat, right? The flight attendant, she's like, you didn't pay for the seat, correct? You only paid for your seat and extra leg room, correct? And he's like, yes, but like I paid for extra leg room. Like he literally said out loud with the woman and the baby standing right there, I don't want a baby screaming next to me for 14 hours. And I'm like, okay, bro. We're all thinking it, but like that's kind of rude to just like say out loud. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of rude. Like, how do you know when you buy a seat on a plane? How do you know that like that woman didn't buy that seat and is like gonna be just sitting next to you for 14 hours with her baby anyway. Like, regardless of her being moved into that seat, like, she very well could have purchased that seat, and then you would have no say in the matter. So, like, what are you trying to... I don't know. It was crazy that he said that. And I don't know what happened with that situation, why she got moved to that seat, what this situation was. I thought I heard her say something to the woman that like, oh yeah, like I paid for this and like I didn't get it, or like I I requested this and it wasn't available, or like da 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 da, like something maybe having to do with like her baby and like a bassinet, or like something like that, like something along those lines, like some accommodation for like her and her baby, but the airline like didn't have it or didn't give it to her or whatever, so they offered her in return, because they felt bad, like a seat with more legroom. Apparently, I don't know what this situation was, and I wish that I had like heard that and heard them speaking about it, but I just could not believe that he was like so rude to her. So she was sitting in the middle, he's sitting on the right, and then the other woman is like on the left. And maybe like 6 hours into this flight, 6 hours into this flight, this man absolutely crashes out. Like, he flips out. And mind you, this baby was like not even like really that loud. Like, my flight there was a baby on like the 12-hour long flight there, and would like cry here and there, but like was chilling. And the parents had like a full on like bassinet like bed for it, and they were sitting in like that same kind of row with the extra leg room. And the baby was like sleeping most of the flight, like only woke up a few times to cry, and they like fed, changed, whatever. But like very lucky that there was like a very well behaved, like quiet, calm, chill baby. And it's like, who cares? There's like not much you can like do to help that. Like, were you gonna be a fucking asshole to someone with a baby on a plane? Like, traveling is hard enough, let alone with like a literal baby that like can't do anything themselves. So like, don't be rude. But yeah, this baby was like not like really even crying that much, like kind of similar to like the previous flight that I was on, just like every few hours, like little upset or whatever, and she would feed da da da. So the woman was using the blanket, because on like long flights they give you blankets, pillows, stuff like that. She was using the blanket to cover like her head, and then like over the baby so that she could breastfeed the baby. And she had done that like maybe like 2 or 3 times since the beginning of the flight. And like I said, it's maybe like 6 hours in. It's like almost halfway through the flight. She does it again, and then I guess the blanket, dude, it's just so, when I hear me saying it out loud or thinking about it, it sounds so ridiculous that he crashed out from this. But like, she takes the blanket, and she's like, mind you, she's like one-handed, because she's like literally holding her baby in her right hand, and then takes her left hand and like throws the blanket over them. Well, the blanket accidentally like went over the man next to her. Accidentally, and the man flipped out. He literally took the blanket off, threw it on the floor, like, bro, literally chill. And he literally shouted, "Will you stop?" I was like, what did he just say? So after I heard that and saw that happen, I was on high alert. I was like, that man did not just yell at a mom trying to breastfeed her baby. Like, what is your problem, bro? Like, literally chill. And so I was like really on high alert. Everybody in the plane, like around us, was like kind of like, we're all like looking at each other, like making eye contact, like what? And there's this dude on the right in the row next up that like literally before we even took off was like on a Skype call, like on like a Zoom call with like his team, like, like coworkers and stuff. And he's literally playing 2048, the game, I shit you not, the entire flight. And I'm like, what is this man doing playing 2048 for like 12 plus hours? that's insane. He would like play and then he'd restart the game and he'd play and I was like, so that's another layer. But like this dude was like, you know, finance, business bro kind of type guy. And even he is like looking around like, yo, what? Like, you know, what's going on? Like, why did this dude just crash out and yell at this woman? And I'm so surprised that like flight attendant, I almost clicked the thing to like call a flight attendant over to like resolve the situation and like figure something out, because I was like, I don't want him to do that again. I don't want him to get physical. Like, you don't know what this guy is like he could be like violent. Like, that's weird. And then I was uncomfortable for her as like a mom with a baby. Like, I wouldn't want to sit there anymore. But then like they sat her there as like an accommodation, as like an upgrade kind of for her. And it's like, but then like you don't want to move because you have a baby and it's more comfortable for you and your baby. But like, I don't know, the situation was just very weird and like dark, and like, so I was on high alert. And then like, luckily the woman that was seated on the other side like offered, she was like, oh, do you want to like switch? And like, obviously she switched. So the woman that was on the side just like sat in the middle. And then, yeah. But isn't that literally like so ridiculous and insane? I could not believe that happened. And he shut the fuck up the rest of the flight. Like, he didn't say anything. And then at the very end, like after we landed in LA, I heard him talking to the dude across the aisle. And he was like, yeah, I don't know, I just got like really irritated, and like I was just annoyed that I had to sit next to someone with a baby, and you know, I paid extra for this, da da da. Like, bro, you're not in fucking business class or first class. You're in fucking coach in the front row with leg room. Like, literally humble yourself, like, quite frankly, like, literally chill. Don't flatter yourself. And yeah, it was crazy. And he was like ranting to this dude, and the dude's like, like, he didn't give a fuck. He was like, yeah, sure, dude. But like, I'm surprised he didn't say anything, but like, that's like typical. But yeah, it was very, very, very interesting. Lots of drama on that flight. And I did sleep like intermittently. I like would eat, they'd wake up, you know, they'd like walk by and like, I'd see that they were serving food. So I'd like kind of like half wake up. And I should have brought snacks on that flight, because they only fed us 2 meals. I thought they were going to feed us 3, because on my previous flight, they fed us 3 whole meals, and it was like 12 hours. This flight was literally longer, and they only fed us 2 meals. So I was like starving halfway through the flight. So I got like some snacks from them, but that was like not enough. I was like, oh, I should have like brought my own snacks so that I would have had something to munch on when I was just chilling there. But yeah, that was crazy. The trip overall was like really nice. It's like very relaxing. I just got to like sleep in every day. My man was at work while I was at his place, so I just got to chill, talk with his mom, and yeah, just like gab and like have fun. We had a great time. It was very relaxing. I got to like bond with his family a little bit more. We went to Bahrain for the weekend, and we went to this really, really sick lounge in the Ritz-Carlton there, and called the Burlington Lounge, and it's like a cigar lounge kind of type place. Delicious drinks, and they gave like little like olives and like popcorn as like a snack. I was like, wait, this is so cute. I love this. And I got a French 75. That is my thirst of the week, y'all. I think that's just my thirst of the year, if I'm being so honest. I will, in my last episode of the year, have like my thirst of the year, and talk about just like overall things that like, you know, I'm like vibing with. But yeah, French 75, y'all. That's like my new favorite drink, because I love a little bit of liquor and like not too much, because I'm a lightweight. And then I love champagne. Like, bubbly is my favorite. And I love just like citrus. It's like the best drink ever. It's the perfect combination of like all the things that I like. And I've never had one that like tastes bad. Even like a cheap made one still tastes good. So 10 out of 10. So I sipped on a few of those, and we went to the mall like after having a few drinks, and it was like so fun. That was a fun night and weekend. We went out and like danced and stuff with his brother and some friends, and had just some really fun times. It was a great trip. Had some good food. My man is like on a Chicago Fire kick right now, so we would like chill at night and like eat dinner and watch Chicago Fire. and drink some chamomile tea and just like vibe and spend like quality time together. So it was great. I feel very much recharged as far as like long distance relationships go. I think both of us were like in dire need of that. So it was amazing. It was great to see him. And I'm just so excited to see him next year, because he's gonna come to LA, and I'm so excited. But yeah, I have a few other things to like chat about today's episode. One being, it's like December, y'all. It's Christmas vibes. As soon as I came back, I was like, okay, I'm playing Christmas music now. And I have made a few discoveries regarding like playlists. Apple Music, like every year, I mean, just like Spotify, they have like categories for holiday, and I found 3 playlists that are like 10 out of 10, like do not disappoint. The first of which being Sentimental Christmas. I love the old classic Christmas music, and it has all the greats like Ella, Dean Martin, Nat King Cole, Frank. It's got some good shit, so I highly recommend that playlist if you're into the oldies. I also discovered literally today, I clicked on it because I was like, what is this? A Gift of Christmas Spirit from Jimmy Iovine. And that is also kind of a mix of like oldies and like kind of some new school stuff, but it's really, really good mix. There's some like soul, there's some like pop, there's Motown kind of, it's a really good mix of Christmas stuff. So 10 out of 10. And then obviously R&B for the holidays. That one is pretty good this year, honestly. I think I remember listening to it last year and it was like kind of mid. So maybe there are like some new releases from R&B artists as far as Christmas goes. Like there were it has some oldies and like some new stuff. There's one by SWV. Oh my gosh, yeah, Give Love on Christmas Day. I think that's like my new favorite Christmas song. I loved it. I love it so much. Brandy's Santa Baby, which I don't think I'd ever heard before. So I don't know, whoever put this together, there's like Ari Lennox, Tamia, there's a lot of good shit in here. Coco Jones, Eric Bellinger. There's a really good mix. So 10 out of 10, I recommend those 3 playlists. I will link them in the description if you want to check them out on Apple Music. And yes, I'm an Apple Music girly. Spotify is a little bit sus in the paying songwriters and musicians department. Apple Music is like marginally better, but also they have better sound, like audio quality. And I don't know, I just like it better. And I was like an OG Spotify girly. Like my best friend Rocky, her cousin is from Sweden, and like when Spotify first came out, it was like really popular in Sweden. It like people here didn't know about it. Like she came and visited one summer and like showed it to us, and we both like downloaded it on our like computers on our MacBooks, and we were like OG Spotify girlies, at least like in America before it was like really popular. So I really liked Spotify. But now I'm like anti-Spotify low-key. Not like anti, but like I don't know. They can catch a case for sure. I'm just kind of a little, I don't have much respect for them corporate wise. You know, I appreciate their efforts in like music discovery and trying to like amplify like new artists. But yeah, they need to get their shit together and stop like trying to appeal like laws to pay more to musicians, because they have enough. They're good. Anyway, end of like music rights rant. Okay, last 2 segments of the episode, y'all. I wanted to review some of the Christmas movies that I watched this week since I've been home and I've been in the holiday spirit. One, Frosty, such a classic, such an iconic cartoon. I literally love Frosty the Snowman. It's short and sweet and adorable, and I love it. And I posted on my Instagram this week like a story because I was literally cackling when I was watching this. You know this scene, if you have not seen Frosty, there's this scene where like he comes, I think before he comes to life actually, where they're like trying to name him. They like build him and then they're trying to name the snowman, and like some little girl is like Christopher Columbus, and I'm like, oh no, not the colonizer, like and then this little boy goes, oatmeal, and all of the kids turn deadpan to the little kid like, oatmeal. I was like, bro, what happened? I put in my caption like, what Like, what happened to we listen and we don't judge? What happened? What is wrong with oatmeal? It sure is a hell of a lot better than Christopher Columbus for the name of a snowman. Be so for real. Oatmeal the snowman could have worked. Could a whole lot better than Christopher Columbus the snowman, if we're being so real here. But yeah, maybe those kids have just not gotten to that point in their, historical education to have the nuance to know that, like, that is not Christopher Columbus, not the colonizer. But yeah, that shit made me laugh so hard. And there were like a few moments in that like I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I was cackling, loved it, love it forever. I watched Surviving Christmas. It's with Ben Affleck and it's from like 2004, 2005 or something like that. I thought that was super funny, super cute. I had never seen that before. I loved it. It was very satisfying. I love him as an actor. I love that old stuff in like the 90s and 2000s, like huge fan. So that was cute. I would recommend if you've not seen Surviving Christmas to watch it. It was funny. Okay, next up, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's one of the oldies and the goodies. I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like the same makers as Rudolph. We always, by the way, me and my family, we always save Rudolph and Charlie Brown Christmas for like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Those are like the two golden films in our family. One, because my mom loves Peanuts. It's like any major holiday, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, we watch the like Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which I realized now I didn't get to watch this year. Oh my gosh, maybe I'll watch it anyway, just for funsies. And then Charlie Brown Christmas. And we watch those like on the holiday itself. That's like the highlight. And then also Rudolph, because that is my cat Chelsea's favorite movie. Like, I think it's like her favorite movie of all time. Literally, there was this like one Christmas where we put it on, and you know that scene where the little girl reindeer that like befriends Rudolph and he's like blushing, he's like all like smitten over her. It's like his first crush, and she's like singing that song. How does it go? There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Like, she's singing that song and it's like so cute, and she's like singing and like trying to like encourage Rudolph to like keep going and not give up. And my cat, we put that movie on and my cat was literally sitting on the floor looking up at the TV like in awe. And she loves that scene. She loves that movie so much. She watches it literally every year. It's the cutest thing ever. So we will watch that later. Just like a little sidebar. But Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I think, is the same makers, if I'm not mistaken, as Rudolph. And it's cute. It's classic. I remember it being like a little bit more like fun and interesting, kind of like Rudolph. I think Rudolph is a little bit more like charming, and the dialogue's a little bit better, and like the side characters and like kind of side quests and like, you feel me, those are a little bit more interesting. Santa Claus is Coming to Town is like good, it's just not as charming. But we watched that, it was cute. And then watched Our Little Secret. That is a new one that came out this year on Netflix, and it's with Leslie Lohan. Can I just say, I am loving that this woman is like back at work, full swing. She's doing her thing. Her hair looks beautiful. She looks beautiful. I'm a huge fan. I love that she's just like working her ass off again, and she's in everything. I'm like, give it all to me. I saw like a thing on Netflix of some like Irish thing that she's into. I don't know what that is all about, but I'm like, girl. So I really want to watch that. But this was really cute. I thought it was funny and charming. It was just like lighthearted. It's like a little rom-com vibe. But I thought it was really cute. There were some really, really, really funny scenes in this, and I just couldn't get enough of it. I thought it was adorable. So 10 out of 10. So I think those are the 4 that I watched this week. Also, I don't know if Game of Thrones counts, but like my parents and I started season 2 finally. We're on like episode 4. I think I fell asleep because I'm all jet lagged this week. Where I was, y'all, is 11-hour time difference. So my internal clock is all messed up, like completely. The last like week I've been like falling asleep really early on the couch and then like waking up really early in the morning. Like, I've been all over the place. Today is the first day like last night that I went to bed like when I normally do, like around midnight, and then I woke up when I normally do, like around 8. So thank goodness for that. But yeah, so far so good. There's like a lot of shit going on. I will do a season 2 recap when I'm done watching season 2 and spill tea on like my thoughts on everything and all the updates. Yeah, but yeah, so I don't know if that counts as like Christmas, but there's like winter vibes going on. So I'm just gonna like allow myself to watch that in December, because normally I'm like December is like Christmas movies only. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. I literally, you would not believe the pile of laundry that is on my bed right now. I didn't do all my laundry before I left for my trip, so like came back and like had literally a full laundry basket. Luckily, where I was like my laundry was like done, so I didn't really come back with dirty clothes. But oh my gosh, literally, I need to tackle this pile. I need to meal prep, and then I'll watch something cute tonight. And I'm just like such in the holiday spirit. I literally love the weather right now. It's amazing. It's a little bit chilly, but I love it. I prefer it like by a long shot to summer. I'd rather just be like bundled up and like have cold feet and a cold nose than be like sweating and like overstimulated, if I'm being honest, because the cold does not overstimulate me like whatsoever. I don't know what that is. I don't know. It doesn't at all. I mean, other than like kind of having dry skin sometimes, but Cetaphil's got me on lock. As long as I moisturize every day after I shower, I'm like good. So far no eczema. I'll keep you all updated on that too. Like I'm good so far. The humidity is lower, but I'm surviving. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna do my thing. I hope y'all are having a wonderful week and a wonderful December. And just a nice winter, even if you like don't celebrate Christmas. Like, you might be like, who gives a shit about Christmas? And half of this stuff that I've talked about today might not be like relevant to you. You don't care. I hope that you're at least enjoying the weather and the changes in the season and just like vibing in this December and having a good time, like wrapping up the year, you know, before we jump into a new year. So have a wonderful week and a nice weekend and be safe. And I will see you next week. Bye.